Thank you. Denise, will you please call roll?
Sure. Good evening. Chairman Maloney,
Here?
Commissioner Clark,
Here.
Commissioner Clement, Commissioner Ledoux,
Here.
Commissioner Moss, Commissioner Souther.
Here.
And was someone on Zoom or no? No?
I,
But we're good.
Randy had emailed me, Commissioner Smith had emailed me that he was possibly going to be attending by Zoom this evening, but I'm not seeing him.
Okay. We're okay either way, right? Special presentations, none. Item number 3, I now ask for approval of the minutes from the October 26, 2022 special meeting. I need a motion and a second. Were there any corrections or discussion?
Mr. Chairman, before the meeting, I put at each of your chairs a set of corrected minutes. The version that was in your agenda packet incorrectly identified Chairman Maloney as Vice Chairman Maloney, so we wanted to correct that. So if you make if you make a motion, I would make it based upon the corrected minutes.
Correct vice chair to chairman.
Correct.
Okay, so a motion with the correction.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as corrected.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Denise, please call roll.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Souther,
Aye.
Chairman Maloney,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Aye.
Thank you. We have no public hearings tonight. We have announcements and discussion items. First one being the Planning Commission 2023 meeting calendar.
And that's included in your agenda packets. If you've got any questions about that, you can let me know, but that tells you what the calendar of agendas are for 2023.
Did everyone have a chance to look and make sure there's no problems? Okay.
Regular meeting night will be the fourth Wednesday of every month unless we have a conflict with a holiday, and that will happen usually in November or December.
Item B, Clock Tower Plaza Design Project. I believe you have a presentation for us, Patrick.
I do. I have a brief one. So this is a bit of a vicinity map that shows you where this is. Obviously, this is the corner of 3rd Street and Main, right downtown in Canyon City. Now, you will all remember that in 2021, we updated our comprehensive plan. The comprehensive, and by the way, right now, these are pictures of Clock Tower Plaza. I believe I took these back, I want to say in October, but they are fairly recent. And as you can see, Clock Tower Plaza, former site of, I think it was a gas station once upon a time, but it has been used largely as overflow parking for the most part in recent years. So our comprehensive plan, when we updated it, made some recommendations concerning downtown, and you can see a couple of them highlighted there. Activate the city's livable downtown with a mix of uses that balances the needs of residents, business owners, and visitors. Use clear signage and streetscaping to direct travelers to Main Street from US Highway 50. 3rd Street happens to be a very important corridor for that to happen because 3rd Street happens to have two very important termini associated with it. And then strengthen the connection between downtown and the Arkansas Riverwalk Trail and riverfront areas, providing safe crossings for bicyclists and pedestrians to move more safely and efficiently between the two destinations. Sometime this fall, I believe after Labor Day, we will begin construction on the westerly access plan associated with Highway 50 that will involve the construction of medians along Royal Gorge Boulevard, and that will obviously include the 3rd Street corridor area up as well. Now, again, this is a page right out of the comprehensive plan that's talking about 3rd Street and specifically Clock Tower Plaza. It talks about, and it uses the word underutilized city-owned lot. The corner should be activated to a public multi-use plaza. Based upon that, we went and obtained a grant from Rural Economic Development, the Rural Economic Development Initiative as part of the State Department of Local Affairs. It wasn't a large grant, it was $20,000. We had a matching budget allocation of $20,000, and so we went forward with an RFP at the beginning of November, published it on the city's BidNet page, to solicit input from potential bidders as to how to help the city with a design process for Clock Tower Plaza. So, yeah, and these show the important termini for Third Street. So we had a question and answer session associated with that RFP right at the beginning of December, and bids were due January 4th of this year. We spent January whittling down those proposals. We got 4, and we decided there were 3 firms that we wanted to interview. We conducted those interviews to the latter half of January. We ultimately selected a Denver firm called Livable City Studio to help assist with this project, and then went back with them to renegotiate or strengthen the public outreach components of this. We felt very strongly that this should not be something staff designs. This should be something that the public has a vast amount of input on. We wanted a really robust public outreach process. So based upon that, we came to a conclusion on what the scope of the work was going to be, what the schedule was going to be, and what the total fee was going to be. So we're slightly over 40,000. We're at about 54,000 right now, and that's coming out of budgets from both economic development and planning for professional services. But it is within the budget. We will begin commencing all of this this month, first with an online survey for people to take, and we're also going to be having an identified stakeholders design charrette right at the beginning of March. Our hope is to get the first public outreach workshop happening sometime in, I want to say early April. And then the second one will probably happen right at the beginning of the summer as we have gone through some design refinement. We want to ultimately whittle this down to 3 particular alternatives that the public is ultimately going to decide which facets of the 3 proposals they want distilled into just one. And then from there, we're going to present the final version to a joint planning commission and city council workshop. So that schedule will take us towards the end of July or beginning of August. And at this point, we are hoping that we will have a planning commission representative as part of the stakeholders. We're also going to be looking for local Main Street businesses up and down who are interested. I think we've got a local Main Street merchant here in the audience this evening as well. So we are certainly looking for stakeholders to identify to become part of this first design charrette discussion. And that would conclude my sort of briefing to all of you about this. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Patrick. Any questions of staff from the commissions? Yes.
Patrick, is there something budgeted for the development of this once the plans are?
The best answer I can give you to that, at the risk of sounding like a typical bureaucrat, is yes and no. There is funding available for the construction of 3rd Street once we get a master plan done, a transportation master plan for the city. This is in fact coming from a CDOT grant that will help not only with the construction of 3rd Street once we get that design in place, but there will be funding associated with that to also potentially construct this plaza space as well, based upon the design we're going to be creating. We have also been contacted by the Rotary Club because I believe they have asked if they could make this, I think they call it a legacy project. So I believe they would very much also like to have a hand in what the final design is, because potentially they could be a funding source as well. And certainly the city, if we do get, the funding, then it would be a council decision to allocate the rest of that budget. But until they're faced with that at the time of a budget adoption, I can't give you a confirmation that it will happen.
What would you foresee something in 2024?
Possibly 2024 or 2025.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions from the audience? Okay. Well, that concludes our presentation.
Sure. If any of you are interested in getting your name on the stakeholders list for the meeting, just reach out to me after this meeting, and we'll confirm availability for the first design charrette.
Thank you. Any other, yes, sir?
Patrick, I think last year I'd talked something about having the administrator come and give us an update on budget, some of the items that we had on the updated plan, as far as the projects that might be slated to be implemented. Is that a possibility that you could talk to the?
I will certainly speak with Ryan and see if I can get him to come, if not in March, then in April.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, it doesn't look like anyone else has any comments or questions, so thanks for coming. Meeting adjourned.